Welcome once again to another episode of the Random Access Podcast, brought to you by rapodcast.net. This is episode 835, recorded live on May 17th, 2025. And here are your hosts, the man who got hailed on earlier this week, Dave Pillay.
Hi.
And the man who surprisingly didn't, Andy Lowe. Hi. It was surprisingly somehow missed our house, even though there are people in our neighborhoods who still do not have power.
Oh no. So it's not just hail.
No.
You guys lost power.
Yeah, there are sections of towns that still do not have power. I'm pulling up the consumer's outage map right now, and it still looks like a Jackson Pollock. Most customers should see power restored by the end of Sunday, it says.
And you lost power.
Oh, we didn't lose power.
They lost power.
Yes.
Thursday night, Friday?
Thursday night. Rolled through right around 9 p.m. or so.
Ouch.
Yeah. No, I was kind of surprised on this one, especially since, we had that tornado a year ago. Well, this one actually had tornadoes in it, too, because we had gotten a tornado warning for Kalamazoo County, but it was like the northeast part of the county, so it was already past us, which was good because I really didn't want to have to wake the kids up in order to get them downstairs to the basement.
You're like, all right, everybody, downstairs, let's go.
Yep. But yeah, no, Friday morning, it took me a bit to get out of the neighborhood because there were trees down and power lines down. And
for what it's worth, I did message you guys on Thursday, and I'm like, there's a bad storm coming through here, and it's going to pick up energy as it hits the lake.
Yeah, no, work was already sending out the warning messages for stuff. And somebody, I'm not sure who, but looks like one of the sites on our things the generator has been running for over 24 hours and needs to be checked. But that's probably site maintenance who has to deal with that. So not my problem.
That's right, Andy. Yeah. Not your problem.
Nope, not my problem. Nope, I am not on call. I'm on call next weekend. So, I might be, because it's Tuesday to Tuesday, but the guy who's normally on call over Memorial Day weekend, he might be going on vacation with his new RV.
Nice.
So I might pick up.
Memorial Day's coming up.
Yeah, I know. Next weekend. I know. It's crazy. This is going super fast. Yeah.
Yep.
Memorial Day weekend, and then the first week of June is the last week for Isaac for school. And then, so we have the first week of summer camp, and then it's June 19th, and so I'll be gone on our trip to Pittsburgh.
Very nice.
For like a week or so.
I presume we won't be recording that week.
No, I will not be bringing my stuff for that.
Okay. I approve wholeheartedly.
Yes, so do I.
I would hope so. Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
All right,
no,
Dave.
Not again. Yeah. Number 3.
Number 3? Number 3 is your number?
Yeah. Number 3. You don't even need to set it up anymore. I'm just like, oh, Andy's got drinks. What's number 3, Andy?
Well, the problem is they're sitting in a square. So how do I count?
Well, how would you normally count?
All right. We'll go with this one. We'll go with the blue edition, which is blueberry flavored.
Yum.
I don't know. Whoa. Oh, boy.
Like a blueberry Mountain Dew?
No, this is the blueberry Red Bull.
Blueberry Red Bull?
Yes.
Even worse.
Yes, even worse. Man, as soon as I opened it, whoa.
Just a whiff of blueberry?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Whew. Oh. I don't know about that.
That sounds like a no.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, what is that? Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Someone at Red Bull, apparently.
Probably. I don't know. This has been the worst one I have tasted so far.
That's saying something.
Yeah, I know. Oh. Granted, I've had some weird stuff today. I've had steak-flavored Pringles, brat-flavored Pringles, honey habanero Ruffles, and now this. Yeah, I don't know about that. I just,
It's not a good week for drinks for Andy, apparently.
No, it is not. Which I do have to say that that new Mountain Dew is actually not bad. So, I'm going through that one right now. I finally finished up the last of my voodoo, actually.
I'm so happy for this, Virgil's cream soda.
Was that what the picture was that you sent me?
Yep. I found a store that carries Virgil's.
Nice.
It is like $2 a bottle, and I bought 2 4-packs.
Yeah, that sounds about right for what it is over here at Harding's.
It's just, it's so good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then I see in your picture right above it is that Olipop, which I can't. I tried it, and...
Yeah. But Virgil's, yum.
Yes. Virgil's, yes. That is a yum. Oh, so you didn't have any major power outages or anything else like that for you on this storm?
None that I'm aware of. It was, I mean, it came through. There was a thunderstorm warning. There was a tornado watch. But, like, within Madison, very little happened. I could see the storm way off in the distance. I'm like, that is not a storm I'd like to be in. It totally whiffed. It absolutely missed us.
Yeah, no, it rolled through hard again, which, was only a couple weeks ago where, we didn't have power for 48 hours, and now people are not having power again.
Yep. This is why my parents bought a generator.
Yeah, no. I meant to get the generator looked at
dumb.
after the last storm, and I forgot to do that, but I'll definitely have to do that before, once this is passed through. But supposedly there's already, like, gas stations that are running out of gas.
Oof, because people are getting gas for the...
generators and everything else.
Generators?
Yep.
And because they can't get new gas in time?
I guess not. I saw a picture of Meijer where they actually cleaned out a bunch of the shelves because the Meijer had lost power for too long.
Oh, that's never good.
No.
Like, that's a lot of lost product.
Yep. And, on Reddit, somebody was asking about, like, well, why didn't they try, like, selling it cheap or X, Y, and Z? And then the guy was like, insurance, liability insurance.
Yep.
Mark it as a loss, get, 70% back on the product.
Versus trying to sell it at, 30% or something.
Yep. And this is just...
Yeah, so you guys got slammed by that storm.
Again, yeah. No, this is just ridiculous.
Oh, hopefully it gets better.
Yes. Well, sooner or later, we're just not going to have,
infrastructure.
I was going to say
Andy, that's not better.
I'm going to say sooner or later, all the trees are going to get blown down.
Because not having trees is a good thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I had to go work on one of the transmitter sites, and it was the one that got hit by the tornado last year. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, having to go through streetlights that were out again.
You're like, didn't we just do this?
Like, streetlights are out here again after a major storm rolls through. I'm going to the transmitter site that got hit by the tornado. Lovely.
Mm-hmm. How much of it was still there?
Oh, after the tornado got hit?
Yeah.
No, the tower was still there. The antennas were all just bent out of shape, but the whole tower didn't collapse or anything. So it's way better than the ice storms that were up north. Still hearing somebody call over the radio that the link was down, and they could see why, because the antenna had been the antenna dish had folded to look like a taco.
Oh no!
Yes, from all the ice and everything else, got completely bent.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That does not sound good.
No.
It's not a good shape for a satellite dish.
No, taco does not. Yeah, not the right shape at all.
Right? What's the trait of a hyperbola? Because you could potentially get a hyperbolic taco. Maybe. Hang on.
I don't know where you're going with this one, so I'm just going to let you go.
Hang on. I want to just ChatGPT. Log in? Sure, yeah. I thought I was logged in. Let's see. Generate an image from the phrase hyperbolic taco. Because satellite dishes are parabolic.
Yes.
Because the idea is that anything that hits the dish from any direction is going to get reflected into the focus point, which is where the actual antenna is. Like, you put your receiver at the focus. But that is that trait of anything hitting the dish gets reflected to that one point. That is a trait of a parabola. And I'm trying to remember what the equivalent traits are of a hyperbola. What is the equivalent trait refocus for A parabola versus... No, damn it. Damn it, Google. Why? Why would you do that, Google? It erased... Oh, my God. Hang on.
Oh, you sent me a photo. What is that?
That's a hyperbolic taco.
Did you tell AI that you wanted it to generate an image of a...
I said generate an image from the phrase hyperbolic taco.
Okay, well, that's
And it generated a hyperbolic taco. I don't know what else you want, Andy.
I didn't know what to expect, and that is unexpected.
Interesting. The key reflective property of a hyperbola is that when a ray is directed toward one of the two foci of a hyperbola, it reflects off the curve in such a way it appears to have come from or is directed toward the other focus. Path of light or a signal that travels toward one focus and reflects off the hyperbola will naturally aim toward the second focus. This is why hyperbolic mirrors are used in certain types of telescope and communication devices, where signals need to be focused or directed between 2 points efficiently. Can you illustrate this? I'm learning. We should maybe move on while it's generating this image.
Okay.
I don't know if we're still just gonna wait for it or not. It doesn't make much difference. I'm just all of a sudden going down a rabbit hole of hyperbola versus parabola and hyperbolic dishes versus parabolic dishes.
We can talk about AI because there was a new release from OpenAI.
This week?
Yes.
What did they put out this week? Wait a minute. What?
On Friday,
yeah,
OpenAI announced Codex. Codex is an AI coding agent. It's powered by Codex 1, a version of the company's O3 model, optimized for software engineering tasks.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the agent runs in a sandboxed virtual computer. By connecting with GitHub, its environment can come preloaded with your code repositories that you need. And it's literally...
And it works.
Yep. Prompt asks, what are we coding today?
To subscribers of ChatGPT Pro. You don't have a GPT Pro subscription, do you?
No, I don't have any subscriptions. I don't see enough to need a subscription
to an AI.
Yeah. All the stuff that I have to do interfacing with the computer for work is just all such, proprietary stuff that, I might be able to do like some auto hotkey stuff just to simplify all the commands. But there's even there's even stuff there where, they don't even have keyboard shortcuts for some of the menu options that I want to select, which is super annoying.
Yeah.
I also found out that at one point we can only have 8 instances of the software open at one time.
Because you only have 8 licenses?
Well, no. It starts to freak out a little bit on your laptop if you run more than 8. Which is fine, except some of our sites have, the one site I just went to had, I think, 13 channels.
So you had to run it 13 times?
Yes, with, having
had 2 laptops?
Well, it's, I split it 7 or 8, because there's some hardware stuff on the back end that kind of splits it up anyway. So I split it up into 2 chunks, but still, it was kind of annoying where you're just trying to go through and you're like, you open up 9 windows and that 9th window starts to act funky. You're like, what? Is there something wrong with this equipment? And you talk to the guy and they're like, yeah, no, we normally tell people after 8, limit yourself to 8.
Look, you shouldn't need more than 8, but I need 13. You shouldn't need more than 8. I can sympathize with the developer who is working on whatever thing it is that dies when you have more than 8, where it's probably just starting to write over itself. And they're like, there could be an issue here. If someone were to open this 9 times, they'd start overwriting the memory from the other one, and someone in the meeting going like, yeah, but come on, who's going to open it 9 times? You're fine, just push it.
Yep.
What do you mean they're going to open it 13 times? But Codex CLI.
Yep. OpenAI's version.
I mean, other companies already have this.
Yeah.
This is not
Claude has.
Claude Code.
Yep.
Windsurf has an entire fucking IDE centered around it. Oh, that's probably something we might want to mention, that OpenAI bought Windsurf.
What?
Yeah, OpenAI bought Windsurf.
Huh.
Go ahead, Andy. Go look it up. I want to hear your reaction when you read this.
Windsurf. All right, let's see. Acquired by OpenAI for $3 billion.
$3 billion. That's actually in the article that you sent me anyway. $3 billion with a B dollars for an IDE, for a development environment, for a fork of VS Code. That's what they spent $3 billion on.
It was valued at $1.25 billion last August. Really doubled, over doubled in value.
Yep.
Since
in 10 months.
Jesus.
Not even 10 months.
Oh my goodness.
$3 billion. And they were clearly investing in this Codex thing. God damn it, guys. Like, pick a lane. You make it really hard to keep up with the industry. Also, could you imagine us, 18 years ago thinking about this and being like, I wonder if we'll be talking about AI one day? Never was on my mind.
No, never was on mine.
Potential topics.
Like, it was always one of those things that was always 20 years down the line. Like, oh yeah, no, and it's one of those things that's perpetually 20 years down the line. But yeah, no, things just have, I wouldn't say exponential, but still there was a explosion in a sudden just leaps and bounds sort of stuff. They're like when Sora came out, that one just threw me for a loop.
I mean, I think Moore's law applies.
Yes. No, I could see that. Yeah.
I also likened it, although it's going a lot faster. I likened this to the internet as a technological advance, that this jump in technology that we'd be seeing the same kind of thing as with the internet, where it's like, all of the sudden, so much more, just so much more and so much faster.
Man, just crazy.
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I think that was the only AI news. Another acquisition. We had talked about how Verizon wanted to buy Frontier last year, and the FCC has given the green light on the approval of the merger between Verizon and Frontier for $20 billion. The reason why, though, is... before you go on and talk about the reason why, I do feel like we need a scale factor. Because, we just talked about OpenAI, and they spent $3 billion on this thing, and that is, how ridiculous that is. Verizon is buying Frontier for $20 billion. Yes.
So, the scale is just different. Is this a lot? Is this not a lot?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I guess doing it as, percentage of value of the company that's making the purchase would be a good way to do it.
The deal, which would return Verizon assets it had previously sold to Frontier in, 2016, Verizon sold TV and internet landline businesses in California, Texas, and Florida to Frontier for $10 billion. And in 2009, Verizon sold landline businesses in 14 states to Frontier for $8.6 billion.
And now for $20 billion, they're getting it all back.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
A lot more.
Mm-hmm. Frontier would add about 4% to Verizon's revenue and adjusted earnings.
Oh, okay. So what was the pause for, and why are they allowing it?
The pause, no joke, was because Brendan Carr was upset at Verizon's diversity, equality, and inclusion policies.
Brendan Carr being the new FCC chair?
Yep.
Which, can I just say, kind of fucking not cool, because the last FCC chair didn't get instated until 2 years into the term.
Well, no, the chair got instated right away. It's just they couldn't get a quorum of 3 Democrats onto the panel for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. kind of bullshit. Okay, so he didn't like the fact that Verizon had DEI policies.
Yes. So Verizon pledged to end.
Sorry, hang on. I'm a fan of the don't let them scare word it out of existence. Brendan Carr was upset at Verizon for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes. And Verizon's pledge to end their policies of diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Equity.
Equity, equality. They'd be
Slightly different.
slightly different? Okay.
Yeah.
Equity was outlined in a May 15 letter to the commission. And after Brendan Carr got that letter saying that, Verizon was going to end those policies, he announced that the FCC was going to approve the merger.
So he used political control to change how a company runs its operations. Mm-hmm. Isn't that exactly what the Republican Party was against forever?
Yep.
Like, get off my back, government. Just cool. Not cool.
No,
Very
not cool at all, but
Very upsetting.
yeah. And of course,
For two reasons now. Two reasons. Because A, I don't know if I'm happy that the merger got approved in the first place. B, what the fuck?
well, it's just the fact that, that whole Paramount Global and Skydance Media merger, which was $8 billion, is still pending FCC approval. And there has been word that Paramount was meeting with FCC officials to negotiate a commitment that the company continue to abstain from particular corporate diversity issues.
This is such a crappy timeline. Mm-hmm. This is such a crappy timeline. I'm so upset at this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Nintendo, with the new Switch coming out, turns out recently updated their user agreement.
Oh, I saw this. This is hilarious. Yes.
Where,
If you mod our consoles, we can deactivate them.
yes.
Yeah.
So they said that you may not modify or copy or reverse engineer or distribute or
Right, which is all normal.
Yep. But yeah, they at the very end they say that you acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part.
Did Nintendo add a kill switch to the Switch?
I don't know. That's the big question that everybody's asking now is like, wait a sec, or is this just like them legalese without actually being able to,
Follow up on it?
yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
So Dave, what I need you to do is once you get the $500 Switch.
Switch 2, yeah?
Yes. Once you get the Switch 2.
Start modifying it
Yes.
and see how long it takes for Nintendo to shut it down?
Yes.
No. I'm going to let other people do that first.
Yes, that's a good call. But man, that's some harsh wording.
I don't know if it's going to hold up. I mean, so here's the thing, like there's the fact that it's the user agreement. So like you are agreeing to these terms. But like right to own, right to repair, like if the Switch is broken and I fix it, they can break it permanently.
Would that be considered? Well, let's see. Okay, so you may not publish, copy, modify, reverse engineer, lease, rent, decompile, disassemble. There it is. Okay, because you would have to disassemble it in order to.
Yeah, although you have to be careful if they're talking about disassemble the hardware versus disassemble the software. Those are two different terms.
Because this is talking about the Nintendo account services, not just.
Yeah, but they do say that they can turn off the hardware.
Yes. Yeah,
So
the applicable Nintendo device.
Right, which is the Switch.
So this agreement's just for like the Switch store, right?
It's not clear at all, which is to Nintendo's benefit.
Yeah.
They don't want it to be clear.
No.
They want it to be as fucking opaque as possible.
Okay, so this was the Nintendo Account User Agreement, a digital document you click on in order to use online connected Nintendo services. So the eShop, online subscription service, and any digitally purchased games. So if you don't connect your Switch to the internet, you can still play cartridges and not be against the user agreement.
I mean, they could still shut. It's just Nintendo has been very antagonistic with their fans. They make good games and they make good systems, but they've been in combat with their fans. And I think this is just another instance of that. I think we talked about it on this show, maybe. The new, Nintendo Switch 2 Tour video game that is not packaged with the Switch 2?
Yes.
That they're selling
the basically the tutorial.
Yeah. Apparently, Wii Sports was originally supposed to be sold separately.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Guess who had to work very, very, very hard to convince Nintendo that was a bad idea and that they should include it with the Switch. Not Switch, the Wii.
Miyamoto?
Nope. Miyamoto he wanted to charge.
Oh, really? Okay.
We produced content, we made a game, we should get paid for that.
Who?
Reggie.
Reggie was smart.
Reggie went to fight for the consumers and the customers and the fans, and he said, no. This should be included.
And that was a smart move.
It was a really smart move.
I mean,
but Nintendo was absolutely dead set against it.
I mean, that was the thing is you get the Wii.
You get Wii Sports.
You get Wii Sports, and you are having a party with everybody right out of the box.
And everyone else is going to go buy the Wii right after.
Yes. That was just, I know I kind of go back to this sometimes, but when Kate got me for either it was a birthday or she got me an iPod as a present. And I was like, cool, an iPod. And then, I set it down right away. And Kate was like, you don't seem very excited about, how come you're not using it? I'm like, well, it's because it's just the iPod. It's the hardware. I have to get everything.
To go do the stuff on the computer.
Yeah, I have to go do all the stuff on the computer and get everything loaded. And then, then it will be cooking. Mm-hmm. But right now, it's just a box.
Yeah. It's just a hard drive.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if the iPod, came preloaded with songs, not by U2, then that would be a whole different story.
And a speaker.
Yeah. So somebody did a study because during the last call, I was going to say conference call, but that's not right. Like a fiscal call for Nintendo. Nintendo is predicting that they are going to sell 15 million units sold in the next fiscal year.
They are expecting to sell
15 million Switch 2 consoles before March 31st, 2026.
How many consoles? 15 million. I have to think about this for a second. I need comparative.
The original Switch, when it launched in 2017, Nintendo had projected 10 million units sold that first fiscal year, but ultimately sold 15 million units. So now
they've done it before.
Yes.
And if they undersell it to the sales like they did with the Switch, they should actually sell 22 million units.
Yeah, the forecasters are predicting 20 million units sold. As the upper limit, the ceiling. They're thinking somewhere between 16 to 20 million.
I mean, assuming they can produce that many units.
Yep.
Do they expect to be able to make that much hardware?
Well, Nintendo is forecasting 15 million, so
they're hoping they ideally will have 15 million units for sale.
Yes.
At least.
So they're saying, if the pattern of the original Switch stays the same for the Switch 2, by the end of 2029, the Switch 2 will have sold over 100 million units.
I'm sorry, say that again?
By the end of 2029, they're expecting the Switch 2 will have sold 100 million units.
100 million units?
By 2029.
Is a lot. Mm-hmm. 4 years.
4 years.
It's not impossible.
No. PlayStation 5, 75 million after 4.5 years. Xbox Series X/S, no official numbers, but people say around 30 million units in the same time period. The Switch is 152 million after 8 years. But they're expecting then the Switch 2 will be, the number one selling console in that time frame, which I would still just, boggles my mind a little bit.
That's so much. Mm-hmm. That is so much. I'm hopeful because, it would be nice, but we'll see. I
don't know. Part of me was like, okay, if it's still, 'cause the Wii didn't the Wii become the number one selling console?
I think the PS2 might still have outsold it. I don't know. Let's find out. Consoles by sales. Best-selling video game consoles. The PlayStation 2 sold 157 million units.
All right, here we go. The Nintendo DS sold 154. The Wii was 101.
The Switch is 122. Now, this is 2-year-old data, and the Switch is still selling.
Yes.
So, Switch sales figures, Nintendo. Do we know how many Switches there are?
Latest numbers.
Nintendo says they've sold 152.12 million units.
Yep, that's what I'm looking at right here.
That is less than the PlayStation 2.
Do you think if the Switch 2...
I love if you look at their numbers, the Wii U was such a failure.
Yeah, we were... Isaac has been obsessing about Mario games, which we were playing Mario Kart for the Wii. And part of me really wishes they would have implemented some of the... Because Mario Kart, I think 8...
what is on the Switch?
On the Switch, yes. That version has basically a kiddie mode. So you can't actually fall off the map. Kind of wish they would have implemented that for this one because, I was playing with Isaac and we were trying to use the Wii steering wheels, which didn't work. So then I found out we could actually use the joystick and the nunchuck. We were doing that. But Megan couldn't figure that out, so I was trying to get her to use the wheel. But it was just me finishing, the level first in 3 minutes.
And then waiting.
And then trying to get the two of them across the finish line enough after about 5 minutes.
Oh, that's kind of adorable.
I know, but still both of them were getting very frustrated at it. And I'm just like...
Yeah.
It's like if we had the Switch, that Mario Kart, I could easily put, Megan onto kiddie mode.
Yep.
And not have to...
It's like the bowling lanes.
Yep, with the bumpers.
The bumpers on bowling lanes.
Yep.
That reminds me, I need to practice my chocobo racing.
Why?
Because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
And there's chocobo racing.
Yes, I know. I remember the chocobo racing.
Yeah, you're right, because you helped me breed a golden chocobo.
Yes, I know, and it took frickin' forever.
Yeah, well, we're not breeding a golden chocobo in Rebirth.
Okay.
But there's still chocobo racing, and there's still side quests that involve chocobo racing. So I'm trying to do those.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII is a collection of minigames stitched together with a story. That's the best way to put it. That's the best way I can put it. It's a collection of minigames stitched together with a story.
Can I say that I was playing Mario Party 8?
Yeah.
And I was doing this...
You can say that.
Yes.
You just did?
I was doing the single player, me 1v1 against the computer to get to unlock all the characters. There is a surprising lack of mini games in the solo campaign of Mario Party.
What is there if there are not mini games?
Well, you're just going around
Mario
the board.
Party is literally just mini games.
Unless you're playing the campaign mode.
There's a campaign mode?
Yes, there's a campaign mode where you have to beat each of the 6 boards. And it's you...
But aren't the boards mini games? When you land on a spot, you play a mini game.
Not in Mario Party 8.
Not in campaign mode?
No. Well, in Mario Party 8... Mario Party 8, everybody goes around the board. There are spots on the board that have, the challenge mini games and stuff. But in Mario Party 8 for the Wii, everybody rolls, everybody moves, and then at the end of the round, there is a mini game that everybody plays. But that doesn't happen in the campaign mode. There is occasionally, maybe one of you will land on a dual, space, dual mini game space, or land on the challenge mode space. But a majority of the thing is just you're rolling dice and wandering around the board trying to collect coins.
And at the end of every turn, it organizes you into teams based on the squares that you were on.
Nope.
It doesn't do that.
Nope.
That's so weird.
Yes.
That's just that's so wrong and bizarre.
Yes,
and weird.
I know. And I finally unlocked all the characters on Isaac's account, and it's just like, thank God I don't have to do this ever again.
Yeah.
I also had to rage quit halfway through.
Yeah,
because we were playing the Haunted Mansion, where you have to. It's a randomized board, and you have to find King Boo twice to win. And there's 3 games in a row. The computer found King Boo on its first turn.
So it cheated.
I don't know how it cheated or not cheated, but yeah, it found King Boo the first turn 3 times in a row, and I'm just like, nope. I'm not.
I'm out.
I'm not playing handicapped on my second turn.
Right.
Not going to happen. So I'm just like, I'm out. Tried it again. Same thing happened. I'm like, I'm out. Third time happened. I'm like, I'm just shutting this thing down and walking away.
Did you come back?
I came back the next day and took 2 more tries to finally beat that computer on that level.
All right, then.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so just completely random, I got the message here that there were 6 confirmed tornadoes in Michigan on Thursday night.
Dang.
So that means the 2025 tornado count is up to 22 tornadoes in Michigan so far this year.
And we're not even like technically in tornado season.
Nope.
Right? Like this is still pre-tornadoes?
I do believe so.
Crap. What else do we want to talk about?
What else we got here? Microsoft is planning on laying off about 3% of its workforce.
That's a lot of people.
About 6,000 people they're planning on laying off.
Why?
Organizational changes necessary to best position the company for success in a dynamic marketplace.
AKA, we hired too many people and then interest rates went up.
Yep.
God damn Microsoft. Well, my heart goes out to those Microsoft engineers. Do they say where they're removing them?
Nope. Across all levels, teams, and geographies.
Well, not all levels.
No, that's true. I don't think the
Are you reducing 3% of your executive suite?
Nope.
Well, then it's not all levels, is it?
No.
Jesus Christ, Microsoft.
Washington State said the company was reducing headcount tied to its headquarters by 1,985 people.
Ouch. Laying off 1,000 people just at the headquarters.
Almost 2,000 people just at the headquarters.
Like, damn, man. It's already really hard to find a job as a software engineer right now or a software developer right now.
Which is funny because I still remember going, in college, people talking about like, oh, yeah, no, coding and software and computer science and engineering. Those were like the go-to things that everybody said to, you need to.
Oh, you have to retire from your truck driving because they're like automating this thing? Go learn to be a programmer. We'll always need programmers.
Mm-hmm.
Go learn to be a farmer. We need more of those. Go learn to be an electrician. We need tradesmen. Yeah. Nope. It always was like, oh yeah, go be a coder.
Yep. Are people still hiring for AI prompters at all or no?
Less.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It very quickly became a non-specialized skill, which is to say, like, if you're going into software development, you better know some basic prompt engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of a like, you should know how to do this.
Gotcha. Well, let's see what
How's your prompt engineering, Andy?
It's okay. Like I said, I don't really use it, and I don't see a need to use it in most things. So,
okay, I urge you to find ways to use it. As I said, it's very similar to the internet revolution. So I understand that you're like at that point where you're looking at being like, I don't really have a need for it. I don't really have a use for it. But like, just remember what it'll be like in 5 or 10 years.
Well, even now, you open up the Google homepage.
And the first thing is an AI.
Yeah. No, the I'm feeling lucky button is now gone. And instead, we have an AI button right there.
Yep. So it's a skill. It requires practice. I highly encourage you to start looking for ways to include it.
No, when I was doing that Cicada Detroit puzzle stuff, I would throw stuff against the AI, and they actually gave me a couple of, outcomes that actually helped me out a bunch.
Yeah.
So, it's just trying to figure out the correct terminology to use and how to word things and how to do the correct follow-up questions. And
just practice. Mm-hmm. I know you don't want to. I know it's a scary new technology and you're not, 18 years old anymore.
I know.
But go practice it.
Well, anything else on this list that is piquing your interest?
What if the SLS is canceled?
Yes. So we talked about how the White House had put out the skinny budget for NASA. And in that skinny budget basically said that they were going to
nix the SLS.
The SLS, the Orion, and the Lunar Gateway.
Yeah.
And so the guys at Ars Technica were like, well, what would that mean if that actually happened? And the answer was basically that they would keep Artemis 2 and Artemis 3 just because both of those are basically already built, more or less. But anything beyond that would get nixed. And they would basically just turn to the Commercial Orbital Transportation System playbook, which was basically how we got SpaceX's Dragon capsule.
Okay.
So they would go to private companies and fund them and guide them and have the private companies develop their own spacecraft, rockets, and everything else, and then basically just buy rides.
Right. Nationalize SpaceX.
No, NASA would just pay them, billions of dollars and say, okay, nope, we're not doing this anymore. It's on you guys.
Yeah, we should nationalize SpaceX.
Yeah.
I firmly believe it. I don't like it, but I think we should nationalize SpaceX. Okay, so that's the SLS. China has been investing just huge amounts in solar and other renewable energy.
Yep. And it's actually paid off. The CO2 emissions were actually down in China.
Yep.
Only 1%, but still that's down.
A big drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. For like a country where the emissions have been growing year over year.
Yes.
For it to go down is a big deal.
Yes.
So, yeah, good for them.
Now, if only the U.S. would have actually...
Yeah, I was going to be like, kind of sucky that our stuff isn't, but yep.
Instead, we're just going to sell federal land to oil and natural gas companies.
Yeah.
Sorry, Utah.
Sorry, Montana. Mm-hmm. Sucks to be y'all.
Let's see. Oh, other space news. Starship, they finally got through a full long duration static fire for the latest Starship. I think this is what flight is this one? It's going to be 9, right? Yes. Yeah, this one's going to be number 9.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Sure.
Ship 35 is going to be the Starship vehicle for Flight 9. They did a single-engine static fire on the 30th, and then on May 1st, they aborted the 6-engine test firing, wheeled it back into the production site, did some work, came back out, and they finished the full long-duration 6-engine static fire. So they haven't officially announced a launch date, and the FAA hasn't given them a launch license yet for it, but they have been putting out the maritime warnings saying that the flight path over the Gulf of Mexico could happen as soon as Wednesday.
That is very soon.
Yes.
Damn. All right.
Well, they don't really have to do much because they're actually reusing one of the heavy boosters from one of the previous flights.
Oh, cool.
So they're actually going to try and launch a flight-proven booster and catch it again. And hopefully this Starship will actually get into space without
orbit
without
blowing up.
Without blowing up, yes.
Again?
For the third.
I thought Starship was the part that they had that done.
Well, that was Block 1. That was version 1 of the Starship. This is version 2, and I guess something's not right.
Something's just not quite there.
Yes. So hopefully this one will actually get farther there because they're planning on, loading it up with the Mach Starlink satellites to test the ship's payload bay and test out the new heat shield, but they kind of need to get that up into space first. So,
yeah.
We'll see, but shoot. If that happens on Wednesday, that's just crazy.
It's a very fast turnaround.
Yep. And somebody actually tested a rotating detonation rocket engine.
Rotating detonation rocket.
Yes.
This is a rocket that explodes a thing and then does what?
Okay, so basic rocket engine. You have...
Is this like a Gatling gun on the back of the rocket?
Well, do you know about like sort of like a pulse engine?
I mean, let's say no. Because I think I knew of them, but I don't know anymore. No.
The pulse engine is sort of like a regular engine where you have oxygen and you have a fuel and you have a spark. But the pulse engine, it has basically a really long exhaust tube. And due to the length and the size of the tube, the gases will actually reach hypersonic speeds by the time they reach the end of the exhaust port. So you can actually get more efficient propulsion using the same amount of propellant compared to just regular...
by virtue of having a long tube?
Yes.
Okay.
The problem is with a pulse engine, you have to pulse it because you have to purge all the spent propellant and everything else out and then load it back up again, kind of like the cylinder in a car engine.
Or a chamber in a revolver, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, less like a chamber in a revolver. More like a tube on the Gatling gun.
Yes. So
okay.
The theory is instead of just having a single tube where you would have to pulse it multiple times, you get basically a cylinder, hence the rotating part, and you get the hypersonic wave basically to spin around in a circle, hence the rotating and the detonation part of it. This has been theoretical stuff for the longest time. There have been smaller concepts like built and tested at like Purdue and U of M and that sort of place. But somebody actually supposedly built one and launched it down in New Mexico. The vehicle flew for about half a minute and as planned did not break the sound barrier, but somebody built like a working...
I see. Okay, I'm following now. I looked up some images. I got you.
Yeah. No, it's a weird way of doing it, but this is an interesting thing there because it's a way to get more bang for your buck, literally.
Right.
Having the same amount of propellant, but having a greater output.
Where there's no mechanical part that's rotating.
No.
It's not changing chambers or anything. Literally the wave, the pulse wave, the like thrust is rotating around the cylinder.
Yes. So this is actually like...
I mean, as long as it's rotating fast enough, you won't notice.
Well, that's the same thing with the pulse engine is, if it's fast enough, you can get good propulsion. And if you have enough of them and time it, kind of like, a car engine, it can work. So this one kind of just takes it's the next step. And even places like the Navy are interested in this sort of thing there because the Navy has to, carry all its fuel with it wherever it's going. And if they can get more bang for their buck, they'll be all for it. Mm-hmm. So they were, are looking at this for power.
There is so much physics that I just did not go into and that I could have gone into. And I'm like, but computers.
Yeah. Which, most of the stuff, the theoretical stuff, was actually done at the Computational Fluid Dynamics Lab at U of M. So, there's your computers right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody actually flew a rocket and very interested. And it flew. So we're going to see what comes from that. All right. Should we hit the randoms? Because I think we're at that point.
So,
unless there's anything else on here you want to...
Nah.
Okay. So it's my review, and I want to talk about the game that I was trying out called 112 Operator. This is actually a sequel to a game called 911 Operator that I picked up through a Humble Bundle, or I don't remember exactly where I picked it up. It was either free or on sale.
Sure.
But I work, in the two-way communications industry that deal with first responders, which include 911 operators.
911.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two of the transmitter sites that I look after are the Berrien County Dispatch and the Kalamazoo County Dispatch. So I saw this on my list, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of curious because, I'm in there and I hear the
Right.
911 calls, and I'm, looking at their computer-aided dispatch and everything else like that. I'm like, well, I'll try this game out. We'll see.
You didn't worry that it was going to feel like taking work home with you?
Well, no, because I don't actually, I don't
Do the 911 calls?
Yeah, I don't do the 911 calls. I just make sure the equipment works so other people can do the 911 calls. But I was curious, so I tried doing this game. And have you ever wanted to play a game just to feel stressed?
I mean, yeah.
Because
Like, I didn't want to play the game to feel stressed. I wanted to play the game because the game was good, but I did know that the game would make me feel stressed.
well, this game will make you feel stressed because I was playing it with the headphones on too. And so I could hear like the background noise in the room, quote unquote, in the game. Like they have other operators. You can kind of hear their stuff going on. But then also turns out that they have 911 voice calls. So they actually have voice actors talking
Okay.
to you in the game.
Yeah.
And you have to like pick your responses. And then, some of them are just, kind of silly, but then other ones are like, I was trying to talk a man off of a building.
Oh, that's not very silly.
No, that is not silly at all.
That sounds rather serious.
Yes, especially when it was like an actual voice actor, doing it. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I was not ready for this.
You were not prepared.
Oh my gosh. And so, the calls are coming in and the calls just keep coming in, and you start off with just, a handful of areas, but then your coverage area starts to expand and expand and expand. And then the calls just keep coming and coming and coming. And I don't even know on some of these other later levels if you can actually answer all the calls.
Because they're just coming in too quickly?
They're coming in too quickly. So then you have to decide which ones are the actual appropriate ones for you to respond to. And then you get graded on your response to these 911 calls. And there were a couple of times I got downgraded because I accidentally sent the police to something that I shouldn't have sent the police to.
So you're part of the problem.
Yes. And then, you get the better you do, the more money you get. And then the more money, you can go in and buy the, more equipment and more cars and everything else there. But sitting there with the headphones on in front of the computer as the people who are in an actual 911 dispatch do for 15, 20 minutes straight. The harder levels, you can't actually pause. There is no pause for the game on the harder levels. So this is all...
Because there is no pause.
Yeah, there is no pause in real life. So yeah, the harder difficulty levels of this game, you cannot actually pause the game at all.
Yep.
So it just keeps going, and you're just sitting here just trying to, keep all the balls in the air and keep all your police and fire and EMTs in the right spots and figure out who needs to go where. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was literally sweating sitting here playing this game.
It sounds like they did a great job of giving you that feeling then.
Yes. No, it felt like I was actually, sitting at a computer in real life, doing...
You were sitting at a computer in real life, but...
Yes. Yeah. But yes, no, I felt like I was...
doing the job of a 911 dispatcher.
Yes. So if you ever wanted to, stress yourself out for fun, this is the game for you. If it's basically like a resource management simulator, because you have to, figure out what equipment to buy and who to put where and all the other stuff there. So it's a basic resource simulator, but man, when they start talking to you over the phone, it just starts to hit a little hard, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this or not.
Certainly not without getting paid for it.
Yes, no, I'm sitting there going like, whew, I am feeling the stress, and I don't know if I want. And there's a whole bunch of DLCs for this thing too. So there's like natural disasters. There's
oh God.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to work on.
Yes.
Natural disasters.
Yeah. So there's like a natural disaster DLC. There's like a zombie apocalypse DLC. There's a whole bunch of other random DLCs too. And I'm just like, no, I can't even get through the base game without really like feeling it in my chest So it's a good simulator, but I feel like this is
You need a break.
yes.
Like, it's a really good simulator. I need to not play it because I need a break.
Yes, I got through a bit, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break on this one. So
Yeah. Well, cool. I don't know if I want to play that. That sounds super stressful.
yes, no, it's
I'm just gonna sit here and play my Pokemon like Poke Rogue.
yes, no, it's a good simulator, but man, it's stressful. So
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna do that.
yep. So yeah. So there's there's a game called 911 Operator, and I got the sequel, which is the 112 Operator, which I found out is the emergency number for Europe. Mm-hmm. So this is all like European. Like started out in like Germany, and yeah, there's different countries for the campaigns and everything else. But there's also if you just want to. They have a free play mode too. So if you just want to be stressed anywhere in the world,
You can just play this
you can just play this
and just be stressed.
and just be stressed for, 20, 30 minutes at a time. No biggie.
Okay, I'll probably pass on that.
Yeah. No, I wanted to just, put that out there just to make sure everybody knew how I was feeling.
Okay. Are you okay, Andy?
Yes. No, I'm fine.
Do you need anything like therapy?
No. Well, maybe, but not for this.
Okay. Not for the game.
No. All right, so random topic. Rolled ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Will you play Diplomacy with Andy's kids one day? I have a diplomacy. I have the Diplomacy board in the game cabinet. So anytime my kids are ever curious, going, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah.
it is available to them.
It's there.
It's there.
I would love to do that. If we ever do like Manistee diplomacy game, you and me, Unbreakable Truce, and I will let you win.
I don't. It's hard enough playing Catan against Isaac.
Really?
Yeah.
He's that good, or
he is surprisingly lucky.
Okay.
It's like it's weird how lucky he is. Like I don't really sandbag much anymore just because I don't need to. It's just somehow his dice rolls are better than me. It's so weird. Granted, if I was playing with them, I would just assume Isaac was going to stab me in the back because that kind of is his MO sometimes with some of these games. But man, I don't know about Diplomacy. We've done Catan. We've done a lot of co-op games, which has been good. Oh, what was the last thing that we just played? Pokemon Labyrinth. That was actually pretty good.
Not familiar.
Oh, well, we can bring it up to Manistee, play it.
Sure.
It'd be a lot better than that stupid Headbands game.
Which generation am I? I don't know. Third.
It's like, I feel like we would have to have, like, the Pokemon Encyclopedia in front of everybody to play that game better.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, Labyrinth.
I think?
Maybe? I don't know. But no, I'll grab Labyrinth. We'll bring that up for Manistee. Play it one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diplomacy, ooh. If they want to play it, it's here. It's in the cabinet. I mean, I brought it with me.
But like Diplomacy, you want to play it with like 8 people who know how to play it.
Yes.
So not until we didn't start playing it until high school.
Yes.
And I don't think that we would have appreciated it until we were that old.
No. Yes. No, I agree. Yeah. So it's here, just not right now. And on that I was gonna say bombshell, but I feel like a gunship would be better, but that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Artillery shell? No. Anyway, it's late.
No, it's late.
Yeah.
Get some sleep.
Yep, that's a wrap. This has been another episode of the Random Access Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, suggestions, remarks, reviews, rebukes, retorts, or just rants, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at RAPodcast, or send us an email at mail@rapodcast.net. Thank you for listening.